Lamb.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. National non-domestic rate multipliers. Is there any more interesting topic for almost 9 o'clock on a Monday night? Absolutely not. Quite right. And I'm sure the regular readers of my blog would say much the same. Our system of taxation of local government in this country is the product of evolution and not of design. It has its roots in Elizabethan forms of taxation, which have been inherited and adapted through the passage of time to adapt to modern realities. And what we're talking about here today is yet again adapting to those modern realities. Like many members of this House, I am a former local government leader myself. I might very well have been one of the ones who was bending the ear of my honourable friend, the member for Ealing North, in asking for this change to come forward, because it is certainly well overdue. We've heard town centres described as being the heart of the community. What do we actually mean by that? Without a clear public space where the whole of a society interacts, towns lack identity, towns lack common sense of bonds between themselves, towns tend to come apart and you see social degradation. And council leaders such as myself have spent the last 14 years trying to adapt to the new realities of our economy, spending a fortune in public money, investing countless hours and countless officer hours in trying to reinvigorate our town centres to ensure that they live on for the next generation, not simply because it's what we think is best, but because overwhelmingly that is the response our communities say that they want for their areas. They want their town centres to be vibrant again and to be a fundamental part of their community. The problem is, no matter what we do on the ground, no matter how much effort we put in, we simply cannot overcome the huge cost disparity between online retailing and physical retailing in the high street. And you would expect, where these challenges exist, that the state would use the levers at its disposal to encourage those things which we think are socially beneficial to be given that extra boost compared to those things which we think come at the detriment of society. And what we're talking about here today is doing exactly that. It's ensuring that those parts of our community that the residents of our constituencies want, that we think are fundamental to their identity, are able to survive into the coming decades, while ensuring that those areas which are now the most profitable, because, surprise, surprise, those things which in Elizabethan times were the most profitable businesses, i.e. buildings immediately adjacent to the local church, no longer have the same level of profit margin that they once did, are given that break in comparison. We've heard an awful lot from the opposition benches about things that parties of government over the last 14 years could have, would have, should have done, given the opportunity. But over those 14 years, I'm afraid to say they didn't. And as a council leader through that period, I was regularly making the case, and we were promised changes at various times, and they never happened. The one thing which we did end up with was full business rate retention, which in my local authority, which we collect £120 million worth of business rates each year, we get to keep £4 million of that, which rather, I think, puts pay to the idea that words have any real meaning sometimes when they're used in reference to some of these policies. Madam Deputy Speaker, this is the single biggest change that can be introduced to ensure that our high street survives in the future. And I'm very proud that whatever idealised form members opposite may wish to imagine could exist, that the real policy being delivered here today is one that actually enables us to support those businesses that our communities desperately want and ensure that those businesses which can afford to carry a bigger load do. Thank you.
Iqbal Mohammed.